Hi, you're part of an exceptional leadership team who's paving the way to our bright future. As a member of the team, you're eligible to receive long-term compensation in addition to your base salary and short-term incentive. These three compensation components make up your target compensation. We grant market-competitive long-term compensation to officers in two different forms. 75% of your annual grant value comes in the form of performance shares, and 25% is in restricted stock units. These grants are communicated during the first quarter of each year. Performance shares are a form of incentive compensation. Here's how the performance shares work. Incentive compensation is only payable if pre-established performance goals are met. The metric our company uses to measure long-term company performance is Return on Invested Capital, or ROIC. ROIC is a measure of how effectively managers use the company's capital. Managers can impact the company's ROIC results in two ways. First, by improving our profits, increasing revenues and decreasing expenses. And second, by making wise capital spending decisions. We must ensure the best return on our capital investments in the business. The number of performance shares payable to you depends on how well we perform against the ROIC performance goal over the 3-year performance period. The potential payout ranges from 0% to 150% of the original number of performance shares granted. Performance shares are a form of stock award. They fluctuate in value with AT&T's stock price and earn quarterly dividend equivalents to motivate you to keep an eye on the stock price and dividend rate, just like our investors do. Dividend equivalents are paid out at the end of the 3-year performance period and are based on the number of performance shares distributed. So what happens at the end of the 3-year performance period? The percentage of performance shares to be distributed is determined by the Human Resources Committee based on our ROIC performance. Those shares are then valued based on the AT&T closing stock price on the day the committee approves the distribution. For officers, 66% of the earned performance shares are distributed in cash through payroll, and the remaining 34% are distributed in actual AT&T shares registered in your name by ComputerShare. The shares are now yours, and you can manage them along with your other AT&T shares. Let's take a moment to talk about restricted stock. Just like performance shares, restricted stock units are equal to the value of a share of AT&T stock. That means their value fluctuates along with our stock price. But unlike performance shares, there are no performance goals associated with them. Vesting occurs upon the earlier of two dates, upon you becoming retirement eligible or at the end of the 4-year restriction period. During the 4-year restriction period, you'll receive quarterly dividend equivalents for your units of restricted stock. Restricted stock units do not have voting rights since they're not actual shares of stock. So what happens at the end of the 4-year restriction period? Your restricted stock units are distributed fully in AT&T shares. They're valued using the closing stock price on the distribution date. Shares are withheld to cover the taxes due on that value, and the net shares are registered in your name by ComputerShare. As a reminder, before you trade any shares, you need to contact the Secretary's office. In summary, remember these key points. A majority of your long-term compensation is tied to our ROIC performance. Increasing our profit and making wise capital expenditure decisions is key to robust long-term compensation payouts. All of your long-term compensation is tied to AT&T's stock price. It's important that we focus on our stock price to better position us to receive or exceed our targeted long-term compensation grant values. Retain the portion of your long-term compensation delivered in shares to ensure you meet your stock ownership guideline if you've not already done so. Stockholders expect us to be significant owners, which will help to better align our interests with theirs. Before we go, take time to check out the Executive Compensation website to access all of your grant notices, plan documents, and contact information for the Executive Compensation team. Please add the AT&T Equity Administration team to your contact list. Please note the descriptions of the plans in this presentation are an overview and are not intended to replace the information contained in each prospectus. In all cases, the applicable plan text governs the administration of these plans. We do not disclose ROIC targets internally or publicly due to competitive concerns and therefore do not provide interim performance results during the performance period.